We used to sell bread too, white bread. That was for sale, not for us to eat. Was for sale. And anyway, so somehow I was the first one to ask him, how about it going with you, and you teach me to be a baker? And so he saw it's a good idea, getting a slave for free. So he spoke it over with my mother, and it was agreed. And I don't remember, was it the same day or the next time he came? I think it was the next time when he came. The deal was made. I went with him on that horse and wagon to the city, took along a film, and took along whatever it is, underwear, I don't know. And then I believe Mom went to the city whenever she got a chance, to make an actual contract, a 3-year contract, to actually like you sell somebody. 3-year contract. He was supposed to give me $50 during these 3 years for clothes.
And that's it.
And that's it, $50. And at the same time, I have to serve him 3 years.
Now that was a contract that really had legal standing, didn't it?
Absolutely, legal standing.
Yeah, and your mother signed
made
it.
legally in the city.
And your mother signed it as being responsible for it.
Absolutely.
Right.
And all right, I wouldn't mind at least if you teach us something. You think they taught you something? Nothing. You were just a slave.
Now this was in Roswitha then?
In Roswitha, that's right. Instead of teaching me or something, well, I had to clean and scrub, and there's even bring out the pots, dirty schmutz, spill it out into the gutter.
Right.
And take care, and the children take care of every goddamn thing, everything.
In other words, you're emptying the toilets for the family as well as being an apprentice.
And of course I worked.
All the nice tasks.
Of course I helped along. I worked with the other guy there. That way I had another fellow that worked.
So in other words, at age 13, you had left your home and went off to the city of Roswitha to learn to be a baker.
Right.
Try to give us a description of this place, Dad.
Oh my goodness.
The bakery and the surroundings.
Too much.
Now, in those days, and well, I even saw it here when I was a kid. Anyone had a bakery, they also lived practically on or near the premises, right? So the baker lived practically.
The baker lived that was in the same building.
Same building as the bakery.
Yeah, he had sleeping quarters upstairs, bedrooms, and everything else. Downstairs, he had the bakery and a store.
Right.
But the baker, the apprentice, they had no room to sleep. They didn't have no bedroom. It was on top of the oven. They had
you lived and slept on top of the oven.
On top of the oven with an old straw mattress.
Right.
Put over boards there and everything else with a choking from
wasn't that kind of hot though?
It was hot, isn't the word for it?
But nobody cared about living conditions for apprentices, is that it?
Nobody cares. Of course, some people, some boys from the city, if they learned to be a baker, they didn't take no go from anybody. You know what I mean? You don't treat me good, he goes home.
Right.
I couldn't go home. I just made up my mind. I'm not going back home.
You were staying with it.
That's right. So I stuck it out until.
So you stayed there from age 13 until.
Well, I believe it was 13 and a half. I was old because I was 16 and a half when I came here. So it was 3 years.
3 years.
3 years. So I was sold out for 3 years. I served 2 years and 9 months. Can you imagine?
2 years and 9 months.
Yeah, it was 3 years short to finish the contract. I was a full-fledged baker.
So we were talking about the apprenticeship, right? And the great life you had at that time.
Well, I was an apprentice.
Now you actually probably with all the misery learned the trade, didn't you?
Oh yeah, because I was all close to 3 years. You had to learn. I learned a little from the fellows that I worked with, and I was eager to learn on my own because after all I wanted to make a future. And then, as I said before, my stepfather, he used to go to United States every so often, stay a while, make some money, either send the money home or go home with the money to the village. But while he was in the United States, he decided to send for me, because a baker in the United States makes good money. Well,
so that put the bug in your ear, huh?
So, well, put a bug in his ear because he knows that I'll help to make money. Help him also make money sent home.
Right.
All right.
I see.
But I was only 16 and a half and short growing. Means very little. Well, I knew the trade. But, so somehow, finally, he did send a ticket on installment.
Was that checked out with his wife, your mother, that Or didn't
Yeah.
she know that you were coming to America?
She knew, of course, because I had to go home first.
And oh, I see. And
So-
and she didn't worry about the broken contract for the apprenticeship.
Well, the thing is this, that you didn't think that far ahead. He sent a ticket home, and she let me know there's a ticket for me, and of course the ticket I had to pay out when I came to this country. That was an installment.
Right.
Well, anyway, so how am I going to break the contract? How am I going to leave that place?
Right.
There was no possibility. So we knew one thing: the only time you can break a contract and leave the place is when they don't feed you good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it,
Right.
because you're supposed to feed me.
Right.
Now, if you don't feed you good, they told me this: if you don't feed you good, you can always leave them.
Right.
That was the law. So I decided I'll pick up. On a Friday morning, I usually used to scrub and clean the place and everything else, clean up, scrub up, and he was busy there, who knows where. So I was alone in the back of the building. The bakery was in the back.
Right.
So I was scrubbing, cleaning. Then I slowly picked up my tefillin, picked up my belongings.
With us, you were davening every day still?
Every day.
God bless you.
And of course, later on in the blues, I had to make it very short too. Sometimes with davening.
Right.
But anyway, I picked up that tefillin. I picked one tefillin. You don't move, no
Right.
place.
European Jewish boy.
That's right. And I picked whatever. I had the underwear, not too much clothes, underwear. Put in one of these little flour bags,
Right.
that, and put on my shoulder. I figured, what happened? I'll scram. I'll walk. Then it was an awful long walk from our city to our house. But I decided, what else can I do?
Roughly how many miles did you do?
I really can't tell. There was a
No.
European mile or 2 miles, a mile and a half or 2 miles. And that was an awful long walk. I don't
Yeah,
see how they
yeah.
walk, how they talk it on the kilometer.
Yeah, a kilometer is 5/8 of a mile.
It's a long, very long walk.
Okay.
All right. Usually people went by train or by horse and wagon. Now, I couldn't take a chance by train. First of all, I don't know if the train went that time and that hour, and surely no other way. So I figured I'd walk
Right.
with that federal highway.
Right.
That straight walk.
Right.
And when I came into the woods, about, I would say about 2 American miles deep in the woods. And I walk and I hear trotting a horse and wagon. I look around. Well, I couldn't see so far who's there, but I keep walking. Sure enough, if horse and wagon pulls up in front, alongside of me, who was it? My master.
Oh my.
My master. He had an idea because he saw my belongings are not there and everything. He had an idea I scrambled home.
Oh boy.
So he chased after me with that horse and wagon. He caught up with me right on that highway in the woods, and he stopped me off. He said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going home." "What do you mean you're going home?" I said, why are you going home?" I said, "You don't give me enough to eat." Right away, I told him right up.
Legal excuse.
Little excuse. "What do you mean you don't give me enough to eat?" Never mind, I'll give you plenty to eat, don't worry. Anyway, he says, "Let's go home." "Okay, let's go home." So I thought, he says, "Let's go home to my home."
Mm-hmm.
So I hopped on the wagon, and I figured I'll go home to my home, and it'll straighten things out with my mother.
You mean home to the bakery?
No, to my home, to my
no,
mother.
but he meant home to the bakery.
He meant home to the bakery.
Right.
So I hopped on the wagon. He turns around the wagon, makes a U-turn, turns around back to the city. My goodness, when I saw that, I just didn't know. Well, anyway,
So what'd you do then?
we came home. Well, nothing. But what else could I do? We came back to the city and jumped in and got off the wagon, put away my stuff, my belongings. And that was Friday, of course. It didn't work Friday night, late Friday. So, but my good, what a child goes through. That time I was only 16, a little over 16 years of age. And when it came to eat, Friday night dinner, of course we ate only once a week. Friday night dinner we ate together with them at the table. Otherwise, she always used to bring him to the bakery on the bench, on the work table there.
Right.
There I used to eat, like a dog. Well, anyway, that time we all sat together. He had my kiddies, and she started serving, Mrs. started serving. She loaded up a plate of loxen and beans and everything. I was so embarrassed that I started to cry. I started to cry by the table.
Because you were
'Cause I
complaining
saw-
about food.
Yeah. So she told me, "Here, now, you complained on food. Here, is enough food for you?" Now, could anybody already eat in a case like that? Well, I ate. Mr. Nelson. I ate. So anyway, I knew I had tickets. I knew I'm going to get away somehow.
Right.
So, okay, I think it was the next